You are lying in bed, lights off, phone glowing. You open your banking app, mostly out of habit, mostly out of dread, and there it is, $20,000. For the first time ever, your savings starts with a 2 and has 4 zeros after it. You feel taller. You start mentally upgrading everything. Nicer apartment, actual vacation, maybe a car. That does not sound like it is dying, but here is what nobody tells you. The moment you look safe on paper, everything shifts. Your bank suddenly offers premium cards. Your investing app unlocks advanced features. Your feed fills with people your age buying cars with giant bows on them. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve says 37% of adults could not cover a $400 emergency without borrowing. Just hitting 20,000 already puts you ahead of millions. So why do so many people who reach that number end up with less the next year? My name is Joe, and I am obsessed with how money actually works. Once you stop living paycheck to paycheck, this video is about why everything changes after 20,000 and how not to let the system eat it. Quick disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. This is education and ideas to think about, not a blueprint for your exact life. The problem: you treat 20K like a destination. You finally clawed your way up. You cut back, took on side gigs, sold stuff. Your savings climb from 200 to 2,000 to 20,000. Then your transmission dies, rent goes up, dog eats a sock, back down you go. If you feel like every time your savings grow, life just reaches in and takes it, that is not you being bad with money. That is almost everyone right now. Americans are only saving around 4 to 5% of their disposable income, roughly half what was normal in the 1960s and 70s. Here is the shift. Most people treat 20,000 like a finish line. They hit it, relax, and end up on this brutal roller coaster up to 20K, down to 5K after a car repair, back to 18K, surprise medical bill, down to 3K, repeat for a decade. But if you treat 20,000 like level 1, a floor, you do not drop below. You can use everything above it to quietly buy yourself time, options, and actual freedom. What actually changes at $20,000? First, your brain flips from "I'm drowning" to "I might be okay." You go from panicking over every surprise bill to thinking, "Annoying, but I can deal with it." At the same time, the outside world flips how it sees you. Your bank flags you as someone worth selling to. Your inbox gets exclusive credit offers, personal lines of credit, higher limits. On paper, $20,000 looks like the finish line. But here's the catch. It's also the moment the money world starts trying harder to separate you from that cash. You notice it everywhere. Travel sites show you nicer hotels by default. Credit card pre-approvals have 5 figures on them. You tell yourself, "I can finally live a little," because you remember how awful it felt when your balance was $20, not $20,000. This is the rich tax no one calls a tax. Banks don't make money from someone at zero. They make money from people who look stable but are easy to tempt into long, profitable contracts. The math that actually rescues you. Let's talk numbers, because this is where things start working in your favor. When your balance is tiny, almost all progress comes from your deposits, not growth. If you've got $2,000 invested and the market gives you 10% in a year, that's $200. Nice, but not life-changing. At $20,000, that same 10% is $2,000. Now you feel it. Quick math. If you're putting away $1,000 a month and earning around 8% per year, it takes roughly 18 to 19 months to get from zero to $20,000. That's a year and a half of saying no, cutting back, staying disciplined. Your second $20,000 doesn't take another 18 months. It's faster because the first pile is finally helping. Same person, same job, same monthly contribution. Completely different slope on the graph. This is where compounding starts to feel real. But there's a catch. If you keep dipping into the pile, The math never gets a chance to do the thing you're counting on. It's like planting a tree and ripping it out every spring to check the roots. The identity trap. Here's the weirdest trap. You spend months being responsible. You pack lunches, say no to trips, resist random Amazon orders. Then you hit 20,000 and something shifts. I'm good with money now. I proved it. So you loosen the belt. Nicer clothes, better dinners. You stop checking prices as closely. You tell yourself, I'm not broke anymore. I don't need to obsess. That new identity can trick you into relaxing the exact habits that got you here. A subscription here, a nicer apartment there. You're not doing anything outrageous. That's what makes it sneaky. Your fixed costs quietly drift up until they're almost equal to your income again. Suddenly, your extra money disappears, and that $20,000 is doing all the heavy lifting with no backup. The system is counting on this. Once your balance looks respectable, you become someone else's business model. As of early 2025, the average new car payment is about $745 a month over 5 years, nearly $45,000 leaving your pocket. New cars lose roughly 20% of their value in the first year alone. Credit card interest rates are around 24 to 25%. If lifestyle creep pushes you into carrying a balance, your interest rate is basically a bonfire for future use money. Even investment funds skim differently. Simple index funds can have expense ratios as low as 0.05%. Comparable actively managed funds average around 0.65%. On a $20,000 investment, that difference is about $120 a year, and it compounds forever. None of this feels dramatic in the moment. It's just a car, just a card, just a fund. But put all of that on top of a savings rate that's already low, and you can see why so many people hit $20,000, feel grown up for a year, and then wonder where all the progress went. How to survive. Phase 2, the layer system. Here's the simple mental model I wish I'd learned at 22. Once you hit that first milestone, stop thinking of it as savings and start thinking of it as 3 layers. Layer 1, the floor, your never go below this again money. Emergency fund, bare minimum bills for 3 to 6 months. For a lot of people, that's $15,000 to $25,000. This is your foundation. Layer 2, growth. Money whose job is to buy you freedom later. Boring, low-cost index funds, retirement accounts, long-term investments that quietly work while you live your life. Layer 3, fun and options, upgrades, trips, career pivots, helping a friend, moving cities, all the things that make life better now or create more upside later. The rule is simple. You can juggle between growth and fun as your priorities change, but you do not dip below the floor unless it's a genuine emergency. And no, genuine emergency doesn't mean flash sale on flights or I'm bored with my phone. 2 people, same income, different futures. Let me show you how this plays out. Alex hits $20,000 and thinks, finally, I'm not behind anymore. They upgrade their car, move into a nicer place at the top of their budget, grab premium cards for points, and dip into savings for trips and gadgets. Sometimes they're at $25,000, sometimes back at $8,000. By their 40s, they're making decent money and still can't say no at work because that savings cushion just isn't solid. Jordan hits $20,000 and decides, this is my floor. I'm not going below this unless something truly serious happens. They keep the car boring, housing costs reasonable. They push new savings into boring index funds. They use some of the fun layer to buy career flexibility, a certification, a short income hit to move to a better role. One 2025 survey found that 44% of employees stay in jobs they dislike because their salary feels like their main security. Jordan doesn't want to be in that 44% forever. By their late 40s, Alex and Jordan might have the same income on paper, but completely different levels of freedom. Alex is stuck saying yes because dropping to zero would knock them off a cliff. Jordan can say no because their floor and growth layers are doing their job. The real upgrade: money becomes options. When you're stuck in phase one, money is about stuff. Can I buy coffee? Can I afford the flight? After $20,000, money can start being about options instead. Taking 3 months off between jobs without panicking. Moving to a different city. Working 4 days instead of 5. Walking away from a boss who treats you badly. Life really does get easier after that first $20,000. But whether it keeps getting easier depends way more on your next few choices than on the number you hit today. Your simple playbook. First, decide what your real floor is. How much you need to feel safe for a few months. Treat that number like a line you don't cross downwards. Second, build a growth layer above that. Boring, low-cost investments that work while you sleep. Third, give yourself a fun and options layer so you can actually enjoy your money and make bold choices without raiding your foundation. Fourth, be suspicious of anything that gets more aggressive about selling to you once your savings grow. If it eats your floor or growth layer, it's not a reward, it's the system taxing your progress. And finally, when you screw up, and you will, I have too, treat it like a detour, not proof you're doomed. Rebuild the floor, restart the plan. The real catch with money is this: the number in your bank account matters, but the rules you set for what happens after you hit that number matter even more. You don't need to become a finance genius. You just need to protect your first $20,000 like it's the floor your future life stands on, and refuse to let the world, or your own impulses, turn it back into a finish line. If this helped, hit subscribe. More honest money talk coming your way. See you in the next one.